Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to the Good Vibes Lifestyle, happening every Thursday now at 4 o'clock instead of 3. So, welcome to the show. My name is Leslie Klein, and I am broadcasting from a different location. I'm actually in Florida this week. So, I'm very excited because I'm going to a lifewave boot camp this weekend, and I'm spending time with my sister and brother in law. So, it's really been a wonderful time, but I'm a little tired because I've been up since like 4 o'clock this morning. But I am here for you now, and let's get on with the show. So, what I want to share with you first is the astrological news and what's been going on. Well, happy new moon in the sign of Leo. So, the new moon happened just within the past hour, exactly at 3:11 p.m. Eastern Time, and it's in the sign of Leo. So Leo has to do with creative expression, public image, and personal confidence. Those are the qualities of Leo. So with it being a new moon is always the beginning of a lunar cycle, which is a great time to start fresh, to reset your intentions, to set your intentions if you don't have them, if you haven't done it, but to really be clear about intentions. And because it's in the sign of Leo, you want to center those intentions around creativity, identity, and authentic expression. So if you are into your chart, you may want to check to see where the sign of Leo is in your chart. And whatever house that's in is the area of your life where you will have the most impact with this new moon. So, another thing that you can do during the new moon here in Leo is to do some shadow work, which is exploring your inner self, and to kind of bring light to anything that's in the shadow, things that we need to work on. So what you can do is journal about any power issues or insecurities that may be bubbling up, and instead of reacting, seek transformation with those. So journaling is a great way to process our emotions, process our thoughts, to really kind of dig in and see what's going on and see what we can release that may be blocking us from our highest good. The other thing we can do during this new moon is to act on inspiration. So if you receive a flash of genius, take the first practical step toward it, even if it's something small. Really listen for those intuitions, those downloads from spirit, from your higher consciousness, from your guides, and take action, even if it's just little actions. Trust that inner voice, and use it to guide you, because your higher power source, if we listen and apply what we learn, or insights we get, inspirations we get, will be more in the flow of life. And this is when we invite synchronicities and those kind of things into our life. So another thing we can do during this new moon is do a self-love ritual. Since Leo rules the heart, each of the different zodiac signs rule different parts of the body, and the heart is ruled by the sign of Leo. So self-love ritual, you may want to do some mirror affirmations where you're actually looking into mirror, looking into your eyes, and saying positive affirmations, or just even I love you, and really look at yourself and see that. Louise Hay does a lot of work with mirror work, so you could always look her up, Louise Hay, um, and learn more about that kind of mirror affirmations. You can also do small personal treats or love letters to yourself. So these are all things that can amplify Leo's heart-centered energy. One little tip that I can give you that I like to do, I use Amazon and Amazon Prime. And when I order something for myself, you can get this little, you can send a gift note, with the gift. You mark it as a gift, and then you can write a little note, and it gets printed out. So whenever I order something, I'll send a little message to myself that's positive affirmations or whatever, related to whatever is the thing that I'm purchasing. And it's just another way to kind of, the idea of writing yourself a love letter. Put those little gift notes in your Amazon packages when you get them, because it makes a difference. It's all the little things that lift us up really counteracts any negative self-talk or any negativity from anywhere else that's in our life. So I just wanted to share that with you. Let's see what else I have here. So um, this new moon Leo energy invites you to roar quietly, but with purpose, stepping into your own radiance while reshaping your world from the inside out. So, this is a really powerful time for intentional creativity, personal renewal, and deep empowerment. Now, the other thing that's going on, which I talked about last week, is that dun dun dun, we are in the middle of a Mercury retrograde. Mercury went retrograde last July 18th and will go direct on August 11th at 3:30 in the morning Eastern time. So, Mercury, you may have heard of Mercury retrograde, and sometimes people get fearful of it, but it's nothing to be fearful of. Mercury rules communications and travels. So during this time, it looks like it's going backwards, even though it's not. It's really an optical illusion from the Earth's perspective. But it's where there's delays and things. It's kind of like I see the energy as backpedaling, and the way to use this energy, it's kind of, it happens 3 to 4 times a year and it usually lasts about 3 weeks. But this is a time to kind of catch up on the loose ends, any back burner projects, any loose ends, anything with the word re in it. Refinance, review, refriend, renew, anything with where you're going back to something and finishing it up. This is where how you want to use this energy right now. And then when Mercury goes direct, that's the time to move forward with new projects. So even though we're setting new intentions right now, you might want to kind of renew ones you've had before, but any new projects that you're starting, wait until August 11th if it makes sense to do that for you, because that's when the energy of Mercury moves forward, especially things that have to do with communications and travel. Now, I travel today, and thankfully I had very good luck. Everything worked out smoothly except for 2 seats down, this screaming 2-year-old child. And so that was a little annoying, but I handled it. Send him Reiki and positive energy and ho'oponopono, and he settled down. But it was difficult. But if that's the the little glitch I get with the Mercury retrograde, I can handle that better than a canceled flight or something else. So, the other thing that's going on right now is Neptune and Saturn are also retrograding. So this is a time of a cosmic pause button. Kind of everything is kind of when things go retrograde, it means going within, not going outward, but going within. So any meditations you do, and any journaling you do, any inner work, this is a great time to really dig in and delve into those things. Neptune retrograde has to do with spiritual decluttering, and Saturn retrograde has to do with structural rebuilding. So, this is a good time to do all of those things. And let's see, last week I did go over some of the tips for a Mercury retrograde. And since you may have not been here last week, and this may be new information for you, let me kind of go through those real quick because we have until August 11th with this Mercury retrograde. So, what you really want to do is make sure that you double check your travel plans, any tech and paperwork, just double check everything. The other thing is to avoid launching new projects or signing big deals because, again, you'll end up more than likely, if you do, you end up redoing it, repeating it. One example I could give you is my mother ordered a washing machine during a Mercury retrograde. It, got delivered. It had a dent in it, so she had to return it. So, this is a time of doing returns and stuff. So if you don't want to have to go through that hassle, try not to do anything new during a Mercury retrograde. The other thing is to use this energy to reflect, reorganize, and reconnect with past ideas. Again, summertime, things are usually a little kind of slower. We're on vacation. We're taking time out to just kind of enjoy the abundance of the earth. And so this is a really good time to, get into your journal, look at what your goals are, and reconnect with those things. And the last point or tip to manage this Mercury retrograde or any Mercury retrograde is to stay patient, back up important files and speak clearly. because and just even active listening where you repeat what someone's telling you or have them repeat what you've said to them, so in active listening that the right message is getting across, because a lot of times there's miscommunications during a Mercury retrograde. So that's what I've got for you. Now let's zoom out and talk about the cosmos, specifically UFO and UAP disclosure. So I wanted to share, let's see, an email here. See if I can do that, from Danny Sheehan, who is the president of, let's see, how do I get to this? Do, do, do. Give me one second while I load this up. So he sent an email, and let's see. He sent an email to all the volunteers, and I wanted to read it to you. And so, how do I get this up on the screen? Maybe. Oh, there it is. Add to stage. Add to stage. Remove that one. There we go. And let me make it a little bit bigger so I can kind of read it along with you. All right, here we go. So if you become a member, and it's free, of Citizens for Disclosure volunteer through the New Paradigm Institute, we get these weekly emails from Danny, who again is the president of the New Paradigm Institute. And I just want to make sure that you can see this big. Okay. So the big news this week is, in July, they were anticipating having these public hearings, but we found out that they won't be happening until September, early September. We also, in this letter, he's talking about Representative Anna Paulina Luna, who's from Florida. She's the chair of the House Oversight Committee, specifically their task force on the declassification of federal secrets. And she's shifted her focus away from UAP right now to focus on the Jeffrey Epstein investigation, because there's been such demand for that. But that doesn't mean that the UFO UAP issue will be disregarded. Representative Eric Burleson is going to continue to advance that, and he now has increased leadership role regarding that. Now, he's the representative that hired David Grush, who is one of the whistleblowers that came out last November. So let's see. So yes, they have a recess in August, and he is talking about having these whistleblowers that have firsthand experience and knowledge of ET craft, of ET bodies, of ETs themselves, coming and speaking in a public hearing early in September. And I'm actually going to do a live stream of that event, and also hopefully have some state representatives from Citizens for Disclosure to do some commentary when that happens. So I will keep you posted on that. So what's going on is that Representative Burleson, who's in the House, he's coordinating with Senator Mike Rounds, who's in the Senate, to reintroduce into both the Senate and the House the exact language that is needed, which is the same bill that was in the Senate's UAP Disclosure Act of 2023, which was introduced by then Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senator Rounds. So, New Paradigm Institute, they're mostly focused on the legislative angle for UAP disclosure. And, let's see here. He also says that, I don't know, they've been working with the Soul Foundation and MUFON and things like that. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing that for right now, because I want to share with you a video clip from Danny Sheehan. Now, he we had a meeting a couple of weeks ago, and last week I played part of it. He talks about 4 dimensions regarding this whole UAP topic, because it is very confusing. So the first dimension is the public hearings, which he talked about last week. The second dimension has to do with the legislation, which I was just mentioning. And the third and fourth have to do with Third dimension is what's happening behind the scenes. And fourth, actually, what is the ET agenda so we can prepare for post-disclosure, what happens when they finally reveal themselves clearly to everyone. For some people who are experiencers, they know that they're here. I unfortunately am not an experiencer at this time, but I'm definitely a believer. I know that they do exist. So I want to share this clip with Danny Sheehan, and he's going to talk about the third dimension. It's a little bit long, maybe 10 minutes. So go ahead and check this out, and I'll see you on the other side.
The third dimension is the sort of behind the scenes activity that's going on. Well, while all of these much publicly discussed issues of public hearings and the legislations, that there's this operation going on in the background. We know, for example, that the Republican Party has been basically taken over by an extremely unique group, which they call the MAGA group, that has taken over the Republican Party, led by Donald Trump, but basically supported by a lot of other people. And what's going on is that President Trump, has vowed that he was going to, the minute that if he was reelected, that he was going to immediately order the release of all of the information about UFOs and whatever the source was of the UFO phenomenon. He has not done that, in fact. He could have done this. He has signed the executive order ordering the release of all of the information about the JFK assassination, and that process is going on right now. More has just been released this last week under that order, and of course he signed the order ordering that all of the information about Jeffrey Epstein be released. Now you know about the brouhaha that's going on this week about that. That now the Justice Department and FBI have completely reversed and said there's no there, and so therefore they said there's nothing to release. Now these behind the scenes activities that are going on, a major part of this is the fact that we have been asked, our New Paradigm Institute has been asked to draft a federal criminal racketeering act, federal criminal complaint, to constitute pressure on all of the people that are part of the legacy group to come forward. And there's a major movement, which we haven't really taken an ultimate position on this. There's a major movement to have them all granted immunity, not just the witnesses that are necessary to get information about other criminal activity, but that they all want to get exonerated for this. They want to have a thing like the Peace and Reconciliation Commission that happened in South Africa when the apartheid government collapsed. Now, this issue that we are crafting the Federal Criminal Racketeering Act criminal complaint. We're in communication with a number of FBI agents that are communicating with us. We're in communication with a number of people at the high levels of the Justice Department inside Washington. But as you know, there is this unique lack of stability in this particular administration within the FBI, within the Justice Department. Every week, the MAGA people out in the country are calling for the resignation of one or another of the cabinet members. They're now calling for the resignation of Pam Bondi as the Attorney General. They're calling for the resignation of Kash Patel as the head of the FBI because they think they betrayed them. That they're firing. They've just ordered the firing of another, tens of thousands of people from the State Department. So there's an extraordinary amount of instability going on inside the administration. And even the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, is just basically holding on by his fingernails. That all it's going to take is one member, like Margie Taylor Greene, bringing a motion to the floor to have a challenge to his leadership. So, and the votes that are coming down in the House and Senate are all coming down to one or two votes. And so there's this unique state of instability inside both the executive branch and inside the Congress right now. And this is the context in which we're attempting to get this coming forward with this extraordinary, indeed evolutionary information about the UFO phenomena and the civilization, the secret civilization that they represent, assuming that it is extraterrestrial or extra dimensional, that it's something beyond the worldviews of most of the people in the world right now. And the reality is that there's this activity going on behind the scenes. And what's happening is, as most of you know, we have all been working together in the New Paradigm Institute, along with the Sol Foundation, which is Gary Nolan over at Stanford, the UAP Disclosure Fund that Chris Mellon is really coordinating. There are a few other groups that we're all working with. We're working with MUFON. We're all working together to put together 40 whistleblowers who have all, in fact, already come forward. And they've come forward to the Senate Intelligence Committee staff, and they've been interviewed under oath, so that those depositions, those sworn depositions detailing the fact that we're in possession of a number of genuine non-human origin extraterrestrial spacecraft and the bodies of the occupants that have been tested and confirmed to be non-human. All of that information has been conveyed to the Senate Intelligence Committee by people with firsthand knowledge about the programs, so that the United States Senate Intelligence Committee has this information already. And they have, to date, declined to make it public, to have any public hearings acknowledging that they have that information. Some of these people have, out of frustration, gone over to the House side and communicated with some of the members of the House Oversight Committee, and they have been given an opportunity to come forward in public hearings, like David Grush, Lou Elizondo. Both of them have testified and asserted on the record, under oath, that they are in possession of firsthand information that caused them to be convinced to a certainty that we are, in fact, in possession of a number of non-human origin extraterrestrial spacecraft and the bodies of the occupants that are non-human. They have both testified to that under oath. But as you'll recall, that when Lou Elizondo appeared before the House Oversight Committee last November, on the 13th of November, and testified that even if he were brought into a skiff and put under oath, that he would not be able to be authorized to tell the members of Congress, the absolute proof of what he and Grush are asserting. So that he said that the gatekeepers are still keeping us from revealing this information to the United States Congress. Okay, this is profoundly unconstitutional, to have the executive branch insisting that it will not brief Congress on this extraordinary information. Okay, and so that we've been asked to do the Federal Criminal Racketeering Act criminal complaint, to apply pressure to the people to come forward to basically defy the so-called gatekeepers that are prohibiting them from revealing this information to the Congress. Okay, so this is all going on behind the scenes of the general public discourse about the legislation, the public discourse about public hearings. There's this whole third dimension that is going on behind the scenes. And our New Paradigm Institute we're intimately involved in all of that activity. So that while we're all working together through the Citizens for Disclosure to put the pressure on the Senate to repass the 64-page bill, to put the pressure on the House of Representatives to pass the whole 64-page bill. Well, we're going through all of this, and we have all this activity going on over the legislation. We have all this activity going on deeply behind the scenes, so that you will know that you are in direct communication with us, like this meeting here today, who are intimately knowledgeable about what all this dynamic is that is going on. Okay, and so now we have to be careful not to betray any certain confidential information that we've been given, and blow our chances of being helpful in getting access to all of this information. But our bottom line is that we're devoted to sharing with you basically everything that we find out about this and what's going on behind the scenes, so that you can be empowered out in your local community where you are, in your congressional district. And the congressional district is the basic organizing base through which we'll be working. Even though the folks that are here include state coordinators, the fact of the matter is that the United States senators, the 2 senators that come from your state, are representatives of us in the Senate. But you have, many of you have as much as 30 or 40, but many of you, a dozen at least, different congressional districts inside your state. And so that we're going to be organizing in every one of the states, we're going to be organizing a team in each one of your congressional districts, so that you can have them, you can all get at that congressperson. Okay, but you will have as much of this third dimensional behind the scenes information as we can possibly get to you, so that you will feel empowered to be able to do the kind of long nights of work that are going to be necessary to develop those teams inside each one of the congressional districts in your state. Now, so that's the third dimension of this whole dynamic.
So that was Danny Sheehan. And if you want to be part of the Citizens for Disclosure, so you can be part of these meetings, really find out what's happening, and actually to help make a difference, join newparadigminstitute.org. You can take actions there. There's an action right now to call the different senators and representatives that are part of this issue. And so that's something that's really important. Now, I am the state lead with 2 other people for the state of Florida, and we've been working with our over 100 volunteers in the state through Zoom calls and stuff to kind of connect and help each other understand what's been going on and seeing how we can help. So if you would like to be part of that, please go to newparadigminstitute.org and sign up and become a volunteer. And then you'll be able to join our meetings. You'll get these emails from Danny so you know what's happening. And yeah, that's what's going on from that end. Now, another thing that's happening, and this is kind of like in process right now, I will be hosting a new series of panel discussions on a monthly basis called Disclosure Dialogues, Voices of Citizens for Disclosure, where I will have on a panel like 5 different citizens for disclosure state coordinators, and that all come from all different backgrounds. Some are experiencers, some are just believers, but they're all very impassioned about this topic. So that will be coming up, and we're looking at August 6th, which is a Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. But this is kind of in the works right now, so it's not set for sure, but just know that it's coming. The other thing I'm going to be doing is a new series called Galactic Good Vibes, where I will be interviewing different experiencers, also from Citizens for Disclosure, to find out their stories about their different encounters with ETs. So I just wanted to let you know that that's coming up as well. And I will let you know through this podcast when those things are happening. Now, I love to talk about spiritual activism because I feel like we have a kind of duty to be part of making the world a better place. And, one way to do it is through Citizens for Disclosure, if you're into that particular area of expertise. But otherwise, there are other things that we can do too. And one of the things that I love to promote, if you've watched any of these shows, you've heard it before, but I just want to remind everyone that on Sundays, for sure, at 2 o'clock Eastern time, and even daily at 2 o'clock Eastern time, to just meditate for 15 minutes and send love and light to the planet. The more people that we have doing this, the more it changes the energy of the world. And this is a form of spiritual activism that we can do quietly without having to, be part of big protests or things like that. But again, follow your intuition as to what you feel is right. And this spirit form of spiritual activism, by meditating and setting love and light to the planet on a daily basis the same time, if you can, really makes a difference. And just it does. We hear about things like HARP and these frequency DEWs, direct energy weapons, and things like that that the government has. Well, we have that capability too, to send our intentions and our energy to make a difference. We are not victims here. We are sovereign beings, and we have a right to create the world that we want, which in my mind, I love to see it as creating heaven on earth. So I just want to share that with you and encourage you to do that 2 o'clock every day. I set my timer. I'm not able to do it every day, but I try to for sure do it on Sundays, because this is something that Pam Gregory, the astrologer from the UK, had started, gosh, probably over a year ago. And I think it's a great thing to do and to continue. So we are now ready for the Oracle of the month. And this month, I've been working with the Sisterhood of the Seers Oracle by Athena Laz. So and I don't have my separate camera today because I am in a new location. And thanks to my sister and brother-in-law for putting me up and letting me use their studio to do this broadcast. So let's pull a card and see what message we get from this deck, Sisterhood of the Seers deck. So, Spirit, what is it that we need to know right now for the highest and best good of all concerned? This is interesting. So I will put this here and I'll have to read. This is called the Seer of Shine, Creativity, See and Be Seen and Worthy. So let me pull this up while I share the card with you, which totally relates to what we were talking about with Leo. All right. So creativity, see and be seen, worthy. Essential meaning, seeing and being seen. Worthy, soul sight, creative impulses, seership, divine inspiration, shining your light, owning your power. The seer's message. This card comes to you with a dual message. First and foremost, do not be afraid to step into the limelight of your life and allow yourself to be seen as your most authentic self. This includes stepping into any relationship or environment as the real you. The real you is magnificent, and your soul essence is ready to take the lead in your life. Imagine feeling supremely comfortable showing up, owning your power, and being seen in your absolute realness. If you stand in your authenticity, you will have nothing to prove, but everything to enjoy, because you will be in less resistance to yourself. And by virtue of these emotional and physical environments, and by virtue of these emotional and physical environments, will begin to feel less restrictive and more pleasurable. Oh, wait, there's more. So, secondly, this card is a call to see and be seen in terms of seership. Societal constraints often teach those who are sensitive to the unseen worlds that their experiences are not real. Yet the non physical, the spirit world, is very real and available to you. Returning to a state of authenticity allows you to develop the skill set further. It requires trusting that you will be safe despite cultural conditioning. To further this relationship, you must practice the art of inner gazing on a regular basis. In the space of inner seeing, you may also receive highly informative creative insights, ideas, and inspirations. They are gifted to you so you can bring them to life in the material world. And the activation is, I am part of a collective consciousness that is here to raise the awareness and vibration of the planet. As I do any spiritual work, I am fiercely supported. I stand and shine brightly for myself and others in all avenues of my life. I shine as me in all the places and relationships. So this card totally relates to the new moon in Leo and touched upon, going within, doing the work, doing the journaling, doing the shadow work. So, yeah, if you're watching, go ahead and comment and tell me if this resonates with you. So, if you like this deck, you can actually find it on my Amazon store. And the way to get to that is so easy. Just go to good-vibes.tv. This is where you can get to all the programs that I have produced, all the content that I have created. So, next up, let's quickly talk about longevity with light. This is a webinar about the LifeWave patches that I have been using. See, I've got my energy. Can you see them? My energy patches. They're hard to see. There we go. To give me some energy because I got like 6 hours of sleep last night. And they're working. So on Thursday, August 14th at 8 o'clock p.m., we will be talking about the ice wave patch, which is a patch that has to do with pain. And our special guest is Dr. Stanley Gravely, who is a PhD, and he will be talking about the ice wave patches. So the way you can register is just go to tinyurl.com/capital L for longevity, capital A for August and 2025, and you will be able to register and get notification of these events. And if you've missed any of the other ones, because we do this on a monthly basis, usually it's the second Thursday of the month. You can actually go to this tinyurl.com/capital L longevity playlist, and that'll get you to all of the previous episodes. Every one of them have been so good. I've learned so much, and many other people have learned a lot too. So check it out. All right. So finally, today I want to talk about a tip to raise your vibration. So last week, tip of the week was to focus on what you want. To really, we're programmed to focus on what's wrong so we can fix it. But that's kind of like the wrong way to do it. It's kind of backwards. What we want to do is focus on what we want and align to the frequency of what it is that we want. And this is how we use the law of attraction to create these things in our life, to manifest these things. This week's tip of the week is to take a gratitude walk. And what I mean by that is you take 5 minutes to 15 minutes and go for a walk in nature and just start feeling and expressing gratitude. Gratitude for that dragonfly right there, that bumblebee, the beautiful trees, the beautiful weather, the sun. And just doing that for just 5 minutes will totally raise your vibration. So, this is a cool little hack that you can do to raise your vibration, especially if you're feeling low. And just physically moving the body and taking a walk, especially being out in nature, makes all the difference. Whether you're at a beach, a mountain, just in your neighborhood, it doesn't matter. But look for look for what you're grateful for, and you will totally improve your vibration. All right, my friends. So this concludes the show for today. I know it was a little long, but I hope you've got some great information and can apply it to your life so that you can raise your vibration. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and subscribe, and share it with someone who needs a boost of good vibes. So until next time, please raise your vibration so you can thrive. Peace out, everyone.